Okay, so this is like super chill, just talking.
Okay.
I have no questions. It's not an
Okay.
interview. It's just talking. Okay.
Be the one time I don't talk.
I've literally thought about that. She's a nervous talker. And I was like, well, she's not going to talk at all. She's going to be like dead silent. But okay, what happened to my mom? Because usually I have to tell her you to take a breath. I was like, okay, take a breath. Let me tell you something. So yeah, this is super chill.
Okay.
Okay. So here with Desma Dinkel, my mom, and so just thought it'd be fun. Mother's Day's coming up on Sunday, and thought it'd be fun to have you on the podcast. It's called Chatter, but there's no bigger chatterer than you. And it was originally we were going to call it Dinkel Be Talking, but I'm not like known for being an over talker. But maybe my mom is. I don't know. I would never say something like that, but it's probably the reputation. But but I thought it'd be fun to have you on because you are a mom and it is Mother's Day. And I thought, hey, this podcast is for interesting people, and I can't think of too many more people more interesting than you. So yeah, I wanted to have you on.
And the good and bad of it.
Good and bad of it. That's right.
You made me the mom. You made me a mom.
Yeah.
So I know you didn't want it to be about Mother's Day, but that's my favorite thing in the whole world.
It's being a mom.
Yeah.
Even though we're mean all the time.
Now you're grown and mean, but you were a sweet little boy. You were funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really entertaining all of your life.
That's
Even
funny.
in the bad of it, your class was probably the worst class at Christian Life, but they were the most fun class of Christian Life.
I think it's funny. We're just watching, we have two boys, as you know. They're your grandsons. It'd be a shame if you didn't know that I had two sons. This would be a whole different vibe if you didn't know that. But Abram is, it's weird how genetics, like, he does impersonations all the time. I didn't teach him that, but, like, I always did impersonations. I had all my little alter egos, but he does the same thing. He keeps us laughing. But yeah, I wanted to have you on here. You've lived an interesting life, had a very unique childhood. And so, yeah, I just see where the conversation goes, but I know, you have, you've lived an interesting life for sure.
I did. I had an interesting few years, but those few years changed my life because it's in mid-7th grade, from Midland, Texas, I moved to Tripoli, Libya. And my dad got a job while he's working with Exxon and moved us all to Tripoli during a coup. King Idris had just been overthrown by Gaddafi. There were tanks going up and down the road. It was really different than America, really different. Yeah. And it was an adventure and great Mediterranean that we got to hang out in. And
wait, you call it the Med?
The Med, we call it the Med.
Mama, you have all these like weird things that you've said our whole lives. So let's clear that up. It's not the Mediterranean. I found out in geography class that it was called the Mediterranean. I thought it was called the Med.
Oh, it's the most beautiful body of water. That was really cool. I missed that part of life. It was really fun just to go get to snorkel anytime we wanted. It was really cool, and learn to sail.
Okay.
And that was fun. And all the characters, our lifeguard was named Flash, and he was a character. And so we all picked on him, and he was fun. So we had our own little American beach. It was all the oil company kids got to go on this little private beach. It was our teen club.
Oh, nice.
So it's cool. And sometimes they'd have live bands for us. Can you imagine the Middle Eastern people singing some of our songs? It was
that was fun.
It was really fun. And so then my parents had a promise that they would send us home to America before I got out of 9th grade, because our school only went up through 9th grade, our oil company school.
Okay.
So I got to pick anywhere in the world I wanted to go, and so I picked Switzerland.
Oh, wow.
And so I got to go there for a year.
Yeah.
And this is the shocking part of me that I know even you won't believe. You've been told all your life, but if somebody said hi to me up until 9th grade, end of 9th grade, I would look at the ground and barely say hi. I was
Were you just rude?
Very shy.
Shy.
So miserably shy. So when I see a shy person, I feel for them because it's miserable. But then you think about, how do you go from being shy to not being shy? How do you change that in front of your friends? So how do you do that in the middle? but I had a fresh start. So I went off to 10th grade. Yeah. And so it's really funny, something I talk about a lot because it changed my life because I got away from my mom that talked for me a lot. And she's a great mom, but she did talk for me and protected me. She was an overprotective mom. And so when I went away, I made all these friends. They're like, oh, a new girl. And they were just made me feel good and made me feel probably apart for the first time in my life. And so it was really, really fun. It was a fun adventure. And the first time my parents came to visit, we were staying downtown Geneva, walking down the street with my parents, and I had two friends ride by on their motorbikes, and I yelled, "Hey, Charles! Hey, Trip!" And my mom literally stopped on the sidewalk, and she said, "Daz, is that you?" It was the most shocking look I've ever seen on her face. She never heard me yell, but raise my voice.
Wow.
So that's pretty weird.
That is. That spurred a memory for me because, I went to a bunch of different schools and cost you all a fortune, I'm sure, for my education. But I remember when I was going to, I guess, the school that I actually stayed at, Christian Life, they're just desperate enough to keep students, I guess. They let me stay. But you gave me advice. I didn't realize the advice came from you. You said, hey, you going to this new school. You told me you can just be friends with everybody, be nice to everybody, and, just be the kind of person that, is friends in every group. I didn't realize that advice kind of came from your experience because I wasn't shy, but I certainly didn't always fit in and been rejected a lot by the schools, not by people, not by kids, but by the schools themselves. And it's funny, I give the same advice to my boys. Hey, y'all can be friends with everybody. And I took that advice. I wasn't friends with every group. There was groups I was mean to, but so that's
You're
interesting.
Funny.
Not to everybody.
It was because of a different way of learning that you had, and teachers can make or break a kid, and it was heartbreaking for us. I mean, sometimes you'll give a sermon and talk about that, and literally, look, I'm tearing up now, but it literally is hard. It was hard. Yeah. Because your kids, you're everything. You know? And so
it's even hard to be guy, and that was me. People are saying that word again now. So,
and you weren't. You were just a couple of points from genius level. But it is true. That's true. It is true.
You've told me that my whole life. I'm starting to believe it. Actually,
it's true because we got you tested and you got into gifted program, and this guy goes, "You have got a smart little boy." Yeah. You were more of a physical learning person, but you hated books, and you made me think you couldn't do them at all, and so I did not do your homework for you. That's one lie you tell all the time. But it's like, I did not do your homework. I sat with you and supported you.
I feel like I sat with you and supported you doing my homework.
No, that's
there was many times where there was even one time you said, hey, just go to bed. Yes, that did happen one time for sure. And I remember I would sit there and I would, kind of feel a little bit of guilt that you were doing my work for me. And I'd act like I'm busy, but man, I wish I would have had a smartphone because I'd just been there like learning.
Chat GPT, can you imagine?
Oh yeah, I would have been all up in Chat GPT doing my homework. That would have been amazing.
Oh. But I remember even trying to make up songs up for your homework to try to get you to remember them.
Yeah, and the summer reading one year was Hatchet. You read it to me, so you did that. Now you helped me the best you possibly could have, and and then all of a sudden it was weird. Like I think it was in third grade, the genius went away, and then somewhere I guess like 5 or 6 years ago it came all back. It's all back. Like the genius level is
it's
back.
There.
It's all like 100%. Yeah, I think I've actually made up those points that were lacking genius level too.
You're just so quick-witted, the things you think of, and I either listen to your podcast and I cry or I laugh. Very proud of you.
Oh, appreciate it. So you went to school in Switzerland, and I know all this. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I don't know these things. And it was at, what is it, CDL? What does that stand for?
College Doula Mom, School of the Lake.
School, and it's a rich kid school.
It was pretty cool. I got to go to school with movie stars, which, And
so was this in the 40s?
73.
73, oh, wow, okay. So who would be a movie star that you went to high school with? Audrey Hepburn?
No, Peter Ustinov.
Okay. What is he in?
He was, I don't know, he was an old movie star with a beard. You could look him up, but he has his Andrea and his son Igor went to school. That's who I went to school with.
Igor, is that Quasimodo? So is this Hunchback of Notre Dame?
He's a famous sculptor now.
Oh,
so I'm friends with him on Facebook.
Really?
I am.
That's a shameless brag.
Yeah. But it's fun because, I have friends all over the world, and I how I love people, and I love to know the rest of the story, so I keep up with them. So it's fun. Some of us have grown different in our views, a lot different, and so that's been a little bit of a challenge because, we don't all think alike, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, sadly, because of the political divide, they called off our reunion this year. It would have been a 50th reunion.
Wow.
And that's super sad.
It was because of the political politics? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yep.
That's crazy. Do you think you were the main cause of that? Or?
No. There were others.
Okay.
I'm sure I was one
you were
of
a
them.
contributor, though.
I'm sure.
I'm sure. Yeah. Well, at least you own it. That's
no,
good.
I don't want to travel and we just want to celebrate who we are. We didn't have any prejudices back there. No lie. I mean, everybody just loved everybody, and they were from all over the world. It was a melting pot from all over the world. And it was really cool. It's the way the world should be.
Yeah.
And that's how it was. And they said it didn't stay like that years later.
Well, that's what heaven looks like. It's people from all over. It's not all one race, one type. It's all people who love Jesus.
I know. That's what it reminded me of.
Certainly doesn't look all the same.
No. And then we moved to Mandeville, and that was a little bit of a shock going from that school,
fancy school to
Mandeville.
Yeah, which was nothing back then.
Yeah, it was a little tiny school, but it was kind of like Christian Life. It was really cool, the little small, and we're still really, really close. So I've got friends from both schools, and they think I graduated from them in Switzerland, which is really funny. I made an impact.
Oh, nice. That's great. So you, so Switzerland, then you Mandeville, and that's, of course, where you met Dad.
We've been together since we were 16.
Wow.
He was at the airport to meet me. I met him on a Easter vacation and for Easter break and met him. Susan, my friend Susan, introduced us that I've known since childhood in Midland. And so she introduced us, and your dad and Susan were at the airport to meet me.
Yeah.
When I came back, and your dad could tell you the exact date. I don't ever remember the date, and he always say, "This is our anniversary," and I'm like, "No, it's not." He remembers that date every single year.
That's funny. Yeah, That's nice. He's
quite
a guy. Quite a
is.
guy. So y'all go through high school, and then y'all both went to college at Louisiana Tech.
We did.
Which is where Cammie lives now, which is a sore subject.
Yeah. She thought I'd be okay, that she was going to work for my alma mater.
Right.
It didn't. Not really. It's kind of fun seeing what's going on, and I'm happy she's trying to make it better. It really is a cool school.
Yeah.
But just not cool that your sister's there.
No, it's pretty lame. But so you went, I think that's interesting. So you went from, Africa, bougie school in Switzerland, Mandeville, and then you move, and then you go in a complete different direction and live in a trailer park in Ruston,
Yep.
So you're covering all the bases and social statuses.
And you kind of did.
Yeah. So apparently I was conceived in a trailer park, which is nothing to be proud of. It connects me to Eminem, I guess, as like my 8-mile moment.
It was a nice trailer park at the time. I know saw it now. It was gross, but it was really a neat trailer park.
I'm sure.
I caught the biggest fish in that pond.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Very good. That's funny. So then you had kids, and you got 3 kids, which is, I asked Cammie and Corey to both, give me some questions, and Corey wasn't any help, but Cammie said, ask her how she decided that she was her favorite child, which obviously isn't true. I think she considers herself the favorite because she's the only daughter, but it's pretty clear I've always been the favorite. So how do you sort that out, like for the other 2? Like, give them any kind of attention when you have such a great start in life. You know what I mean?
So
like,
it's so funny with you three are so different, and you're so different, and so we really sort of even had to raise y'all different.
Right.
I didn't really keep y'all on a leash, but your leash would have been a little shorter than everybody else's, except the girl.
So.
But the girl, you have a shorter leash anyway because you have to protect the girl.
Yeah.
And Corey, we thought he was the little innocent one that really protected you all those years.
He was a good designated driver. He was good at that. That's for sure.
But he
kept me from making a lot of bad decisions.
That's
actually,
good.
yeah,
that's good.
I remember one time we were, I don't know, we'd do donuts in people's grass or whatever, and I was like, I'm gonna do it one more time. He said, and there was a big creek next to it, and he goes, Chad, I'm telling you, one more time is when you're going to put your Jeep in the ditch. And I actually listened to him. I was like, you know what? That's sound advice. And I didn't do it one more time. I listened to him. So, yeah, Corey kept me out of trouble many, many times.
Yeah, y'all are just all so different, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know. But you were the entertaining one.
Yeah, for sure.
And all your friends most of your friends hung out there more. Corey liked to go. We were talking about that the other day. Corey would go visit friends and stay. Sometimes I'd have to beg them to bring him back, like after two days. I'm like, can I please have my son back?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? He used to go spend the night out a lot.
No, I don't remember that.
I wanted him to come home.
Well, yeah.
And then, y'all were very entertaining at home. I always say I should have been a queen. Y'all laugh at me when I say that, but I should, because I like to be entertained. And y'all would get out there.
The boys and I make fun of you for saying that all the time, because name one person in the world that doesn't like being entertained.
Oh, that's
like
true.
Entertainment may come in different forms. Like I don't like playing video games, but a gamer is being entertained.
That's true. But I have a friend that doesn't like music, and I thought everybody liked music. If I have the music on in the car.
But she probably likes something else.
Yeah.
So like literally everybody likes to be entertained, unless they're dead.
Well, yeah, the karaoke was one of my favorite things that y'all would do. I loved it when you sang Ice Ice Baby. Y'all all had your songs. Now, Corey was more like me and wouldn't sing a song.
Right.
So Corey and I wouldn't participate, but maybe he likes to be entertained too.
I mean, we all like being entertained because we're alive.
But it's so funny because those songs, they come back around, like your sister sang, what was it?
Oh, yeah. I can't
Suzanne's,
remember.
Donna Summer song.
Let's Dance. Last Dance.
Yes, Last Dance. Yeah. That was.
How does that go?
Yeah, that's it. It was Last Dance.
How does it go, though?
Anyway, it was so fun because she sang it at the weddings,
Yeah,
so that was really fun.
Yeah.
She was pretty entertaining.
Yeah. For sure. And, everybody has their, those few people on the earth that like to be entertained, they make, entertaining people happy, I guess.
Well, that's why I like American Idol.
Yeah, because you like being entertained.
I do.
Yeah.
They become my kids.
It's like
that's a weird thing.
thing that sets you apart from other people in the world.
No, there's a lot of us that like American Idol. God, it's so good. It's so good this year.
What about what in the world is happening with politics?
I don't know. I can breathe now.
Yeah?
Yeah, I feel like I can breathe a little bit.
Okay.
People don't want people to breathe, I don't think. I don't know.
No?
No.
What does that
mean? People won't leave people alone, you know, and let people have their own opinions,
Right.
So it's weird. The world really is different. It sounds like a real old lady thing to say, and I am. So, but anyway, the world really I know you can see it's gotten really different.
The world?
Mm-hmm.
Well, heck yeah.
I mean, it's dramatically quick,
Well, there's some things that have gotten so much greater than we've ever had it, and there's some things that are just discouraging. Mm-hmm. But I think we're living in some pretty great days. That's for sure. I mean, technology, and I mean,
and it could be good and bad. You know,
technology.
That's like I was telling you yesterday about seeing Lauren Daigle, and she had this live and was talking about how she was being mistreated in this certain town. I don't even know where she was, but it was so funny. Just think, if they knew she was Lauren Daigle, would they have acted different? They kept yelling at her for parking her car at certain places, and she was just running something in real quick, and they'd yell at her. It happened 4 times in one day.
That might be entitlement.
It would be if they knew who she was, but she never told them who she was.
No, I mean, nobody knows who I am, and I park where I'm not supposed to park. And
I don't know.
Entitlement, and
I don't
it's
think
arrogant, and I shouldn't do things like that, but I should get yelled at.
No, I don't think she did that. And then she went to buy a car, and the guy told her he wasn't going to waste her time or his, and wouldn't show her.
Because she couldn't afford it.
Wouldn't let her drive the car.
Well, she dresses like a hippie, so she probably looks like a homeless person.
Oh, she's so cute, though.
Yeah, adorable.
But
That's funny. So she got yelled at 4 times in one day, and doesn't think maybe my operation, my habits of operation are getting me yelled at.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
You might have to like do a little inward looking. I didn't know this story, but I think maybe Lauren might want to do a little a little self inventory to see, why did I get yelled at 4 times in one day by doing the same thing? Maybe it was that thing that had her yelled at, and maybe she thought because of who she was, she could do that.
Maybe, I don't know.
Probably.
I don't know, but wouldn't they have acted different if they knew who she was?
Well, yeah, as they should give her what she wants because she's famous.
No, they shouldn't, but they would act different.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting. She was wondering how we could make the world more kind. And people have.
Well, yeah. How can you make the
media,
entire world revolve around you? That's the goal.
No, I don't think that's what she was getting at. I think people have gotten pretty. Not all people, but people have gotten self-centered. And sometimes people don't consider other people.
Well, for sure. I think people have always been selfish.
And I think that's what she was getting at. I
think that's one of the flaws of man is we're inherently selfish. Mm-hmm. I think that's always been a problem.
Yeah. But she thinks that social media has made it worse, and it probably has.
Yeah.
I don't know. People are mean on
social media is. Yeah, that's an interesting thing because, the connecting point is great. Free marketing is great on social media. But, I doubt anyone has ever battled, the society has ever battled with comparison as much as they do now because of social media. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yep. I can't believe, I can't remember what Carrie said last night, but she was like pretty much post and ghost. That's what she said. Post and ghost. Like for her to promote herself, Carrie Underwood, she'll do a post and then she goes. She told the kids, don't go back and look at the post because you'll see what they say about you. It's better just to post and ghost. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, I think I've heard a lot of celebrities, they say, that's wisdom.
Because
really,
people are mean no matter who you are.
People are brutal. And, on Angel's car, it's like a 2017. I just bought it. It's a used car, obviously. And I got some 2022 wheels to put on it from like basically the same vehicle. Mm-hmm. I thought it looked cool. Well, I posted it in like it's a group on Facebook just for this vehicle, and man, they started. That is ugly. That's the ugliest wheels I've ever seen in my life. Why would you do that? And I'm like, wow, like these people are brutal. And I thought to myself, they don't have trouble getting along with others in real life though, because they don't have the guts to say that to somebody's face, right? And I'm like, man, these people are terrible. And so I used to have a Jeep. Jeep groups are nice. Jeep people are the best people on the planet. But yeah, this group, man.
Probably motorcycle people are too.
I don't know about that.
We're on a koi site because that's our hobby, and we lost all these huge koi in the last 5 years. And if one dies and you post about it, there's certain koi. The local ones are really nice to you. The Baton Rouge ones or South, whatever it is.
The Baton Rouge koi people?
Yeah, are really nice to you. They try to help you. But if you get on the national one, they are yelling like, wow, you're a terrible koi owner. And they'll try to make it like it's your fault your koi died.
I mean, what if it was?
Well, if you accidentally leave the water on and they all die. And I feel sorry for people who do that because I've done that with goldfish before.
But it is their fault.
It is, but they're telling them how stupid they are.
But that is stupid.
But you don't know how aggravated you are.
It's irresponsible. You got to think, if you got kois, you have a responsibility. You know what I mean? The suckers live like 50.
I know.
How long do they live?
100.
100
years. I think
years.
they live really long. I told the kids.
And you have something that has the potential to live 100 years, and you're going to be irresponsible to leave your freaking water running with all that chlorine and fluoride and everything else that's going to kill the fish. Yeah.
But when you accidentally have a wreck, does that mean just to yell at the person and say, like, oh, you were so stupid, you pulled out or whatever?
Maybe.
I mean, it's an accident. That's why it's an accident.
It is an accident. It's for sure an accident. Yeah, and you can be nice and gracious to people. But it is their fault that they left the water on.
And it's their fault they pulled out in front of somebody.
Absolutely, 100%. But you don't have to yell at somebody. You can be nice.
No.
So these koi, y'all having some koi problems, huh?
Yeah. Well, we're started over.
Really? You're going to get more koi?
Well, the snow lasted 5 days, so they got parasites. And our guy that is our professional guy that helps us with the koi, he says that he has seen so many koi.
So you have a koi guy?
We do.
Okay.
And he's who we buy from and bring our problems to, and he's local.
Does he do more than just koi problems, or
no,
just
it's
koi problems?
He does it he takes care of koi ponds all over town.
Yeah. You can't seek his advice on other matters?
Thought you'd want to.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No,
okay.
he's a nice guy. Seriously, he really is.
Does he have like an outfit like that he wears?
No, he's just a normal guy.
Normal guy. Wow. But his passion is koi.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
he gets them from, and the tariffs will make a difference for that for a while. He gets them from China and different places.
Okay. Yeah, when I was in high school, I worked at plant stores, and I worked at one of the plant stores.
Harbs.
Harbs. They put me in charge of the ponds.
Oh, gosh.
And they called me Big Fish.
Oh.
Because I knew more about fish than anybody else that was there.
And I didn't never know that.
And you've never asked me for koi advice, not one time.
And you've never offered it.
Yeah, you never asked. I didn't know you were having koi problems. I had no. I mean, that's.
Yeah, it's hard.
So, are you the person that left your hose on?
No, I did years ago at
And you
the
killed
other
a bunch
house.
of them.
It wasn't koi though; it was goldfish.
So you
but I
killed
still
some
felt
goldfish.
bad.
How long do goldfish live?
And they don't. They have a short. I don't know. They've been a
I
short
know they have a
life.
short attention span or memory, right?
Memory.
Is that the thing? Like goldfish don't remember anything?
I don't know.
Pretty sure that's the thing.
Whoever was a goldfish, how do you know if dogs see black or white and color? How do you know if you would never wear a dog?
That is a good question. I've actually thought about that before. Like maybe they find one of these dogs that can talk. Have you ever seen these dogs that can talk?
I did know one that could talk. It was like your dog, what was her name? Oh, the cool dog, Weimaraner.
Oh yeah,
Hershey.
Weimaraner.
Hershey.
Yeah.
I used to know a Weimaraner that could say "mama,"
Okay.
so it was pretty cool.
Maybe they asked one of them if they can see black and white.
Maybe so.
That could have been the thing. Okay, so having some koi problems. And you're, I wanted to ask you, you are a serial MLM person.
I knew this was coming.
So, like, I remember one time at dinner, we tried to count all the MLMs that you've been in. It's literally countless MLMs.
Probably I could sit down and figure it out. Yeah, I could. It's not countless.
It's almost countless because you would forget about some because there's some you signed up for just to get the discount.
Yeah,
so that counts.
Of course I do that.
That counts.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, I think you're probably knocking on, is it like over 60?
No, maybe 15.
No way. No, I could list off 15 right now.
I don't know. I'll get back with you on that. I'll try to remember. Even when you were a baby, we got into stuff. Whey milk. Well, I can't even. Meadow Fresh. That's what it was.
That was MLM.
Yeah.
And the crystal thing?
Oh, Princess House. That was my
House?
first official.
Wasn't Salad Master one?
Dad was in that one.
Okay. Cutco?
What?
That's the knives, Cutco knives?
I was never in Cutco.
Tupperware?
Maybe. I don't remember.
See? Countless. It's countless.
Beauty Control was a real fun one.
That was a long time. In fact, my first car came from the car you had gotten from Beauty Control. Was my second car.
I loved that company.
Yeah.
That was my favorite.
I remember how hostile you were towards Mary Kay people.
Oh yeah, Mary Kay was hostile toward us too.
Who?
Mary Kay was hostile toward us too.
Oh, so
yeah. So they got in lawsuits and we won.
Really?
Even though Mary Kay's still going in Beauty Control, they sold out.
Like
they sold out to Tupperware. Can you believe that?
Mary Kay?
No, Beauty Control.
Oh wow.
And there it went. I wasn't going to be in a company owned by Tupperware.
Yeah.
So it changed.
So
that was fun.
I mean, how ugly did it get between Mary Kay and Beauty Control? Because I remember like being a little kid, you're influenced by your parents. I'm like, pink Cadillac, and I'm like swerving, trying to run them off the road, just trying to please my parents,
That's funny. No, they were, I don't know, they were pushy, but so were some of us, so.
You don't say.
Yeah. It was fun, though. I mean, I got to go to Cancun to a training, and I got a car, and it was just fun.
2 cars.
Made a lot of friends.
Grand Prix wide body.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the second car?
No, we bought that after we got rid of the other one. No, I only got Grand Prix.
The Grand Prix
was the only
Control.
one I got. Yeah.
You
went with
the
me to get
Camry
it.
was you chose what car, they gave you some money for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have an excellent memory.
And then I'm trying to think what I went. Oh, and then I was in Neora, but I was in a company that changed, and so I didn't like it anymore because they changed, what they were selling.
And so now
I still use some of it.
selling. Are you selling? Is it drugs? Is it peptides and steroids? Or
it's a health and wellness, which I always have been into skincare. My mom taught me to be. Your nana taught me to take care of my skin. But I decided that it's better to feel better than your skin to really look. Of course, you want your skin to look better, but I felt like you feel younger. If you feel younger and feel good, then you're going to be younger. So it's more important than what your skin looks. You can go get plastic surgery and all, and if you feel like crud, then it's...
So you have to make a choice. Do you want to feel good or look good?
That's right. So,
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know this. Why can't they cross over?
Well, they can, because I have things that can help your skin, but...
You just don't sell.
And I still use good skin care.
Okay, so you still take care of your skin. You just can't make money off of taking care of your skin.
Right. Well, I can a little bit, but I stayed in that. So
Neora.
The Korean company.
Korean company. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm still in that because I love it so much. But this pay plan of this Trinont is so much better. And so it's kind of fun. I'm making new friends. I like making friends, and I've always liked working out of the house. And I love the camaraderie. I love to learn, and I'm just not ready.
And you love to be entertained too.
And I love to be entertained, but I love to grow. And I think that you should never get too old that you don't want to grow. I don't want to sit there and knit or sit rocking in my rocking chair. I want to stay active and enjoy life and a quality life as long as.
Well, for sure.
Dad and I can.
For sure, yeah.
And he's diabetic, and so, I want him to stay healthier. I don't want him to be – they always put you on a different drug sometimes. They just keep adding medications, and you see these older people with these big suitcase of medicines, and we don't want to be that.
Yeah.
So we've been pretty strong about that.
Well, that's good.
So
your new MLM, how close to the top of the pyramid are you?
I'm not that close, not even halfway. But but I've already gotten my Jeep stipend that I can take anytime if I go get a Jeep right now. Which eventually when I get up a couple more levels, I'm going to let your dad get the Jeep truck so that he can use the other truck for our business. So.
Okay.
So he'll actually get to drive the Jeep, which he should because he has to invest in me and put up with me all the time.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's very supportive. That is the sweetest man in the whole world.
Oh, 100%. And he's a beast as
yes.
well.
I know. He wasn't even sore going across the monkey bars.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I got a last-minute call that y'all needed help putting a piece of 6x6 on top of 20 feet up, and that man climbed across it just like a monkey. It was impressive.
And 3 monkeys.
Yep. So yeah, like as far as you say, you're passionate about being a mom. Like, what is it that one thing I've learned about being a parent is like every stage is enjoyable. Mm-hmm. But I have also learned that some stages are better than others. Like, of course, you enjoy every stage of life you're at. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed having a baby, but I look back and like, okay, that was not fun.
It's a lot of work.
It's actually awful. No. Babies are the worst. They're useless and not that smart yet. But now, like, I got one that drives. I can talk to them. I can have intelligent conversations with them. This is like my favorite so far. Mm-hmm. Of course, I would have said that at the baby stage because I didn't know anything about having kids. But looking back, like that was not fun. Toddler's okay. As soon as they got out of diapers, I think it was pretty good until like diapers are just they're terrible to buy. They're terrible to change. Mm-hmm. To know they are in your house is pretty rough. But yeah, once the diapers are gone, it's pretty great.
We never bought you diapers.
No,
we had cloth diapers for you. Just think what I went through with that.
Hippies.
No, that's what everybody had. Nobody could afford those. They were cruddy. They were cruddy back then.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
So it was interesting. But
I don't even want to know how that would work.
Halfway with Corey, and then Cammie had all Pampers.
All Pampers.
But the teenage stage was really fun. It's just a small window though, and it's like. They grow up, and it's bittersweet. I remember driving down Coursey Boulevard with you and tearing up thinking, we don't have much more time. You were in 8th grade. I remember it hit me like, God, we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
And, now you see how weird that feels.
Yeah.
And it was fun. It was fun even after y'all got married. It was fun because we had built-in friends.
Right.
And Dad used to get irritated with me because I wouldn't make plans unless I saw what y'all were doing because I didn't want to miss out. I guess I have a little bit of FOMO too. So he'd go, what does it matter what the kids do? And I wanted to know what y'all were doing before we planned. But we did have a lot of fun on the river, 15 years on the river. That was really fun. We had a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
The bonfires and
Yeah.
all that. So,
Yeah,
but
that was
y'all's
fun.
teenage years, I got attached to your friends. It was really fun seeing Robert this weekend.
Yeah.
When I see him, I just feel like they're mine.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many kids that I feel like they're mine.
Absolutely. That's one thing that was always so cool about you and Dad. Like a lot of my friends, not him, but a lot of my friends had, rough family lives, and y'all were always willing to step in as like parents for my friends that didn't have good home lives. I mean, even let friends move in with us. And almost all of them are still around in some capacity. But that's something I noticed was kind of a gifting on y'all's life as being parents to many people.
That's because we like being parents.
Yeah.
And it was funny. We'd set the alarm because, like I said, you were the wild group. And so we'd set the alarm at night, and maybe y'all figured out a way to get out. We didn't know. What we didn't know didn't hurt us, I suppose. But anyway, we'd set the alarm, and your friends didn't care.
Yeah.
They'd want to stay at our house. It was really weird.
That's funny.
And then Cammie, when she had her group, Corey, his friends, they came some, but they didn't really hang out at our house that much. Knew them. But it was funny because Cammie's friends were there all the time.
Which was... Yeah, I still lived there for some of that.
Yeah,
it was
you
pretty
did.
Terrible. Her friends were really annoying.
No, they were awesome. Yeah, you picked on them. But anyway, we'd be in bed and she'd come say, "Mom, get up, cook waffles for us." And here we'd get up. We'd get up in the middle of the night and cook waffles for them or whatever they wanted. And they were funny. It's funny because I named your sister's group the Fab Five, but originally I called them the Chub Club because they just wanted to fry all these candy bars and all this stuff, and I'm like, oh. And then I thought, that's really
probably not very nice.
It's not very nice.
Yeah,
so.
the Chub Club.
But the Fab Five is
click. That would have worked too.
The Fab Five has stuck, and it's really cool. They text each other like almost
every
day.
All five fabulous as well.
They are.
Yeah, absolutely. I did a good job being like a big brother type because I picked on them pretty well.
And Katie pulling her through the alligator.
That was pretty great.
Swamp. That was crazy.
Yeah. They all have their level of trauma from having to be around me. Her friend Rainey, I was eating some whipped cream, which I liked, squirt. I still do that. It's not that bad for you, and I like eating whipped cream out of the can. And she, I want to try it, and I didn't stop. Apparently it scarred her. So.
Well, no, she became a chef. Maybe that's
true.
what did
Maybe
it.
I inspired her, yeah. But I mean, I just like to be entertained. So even if it's the expense of others.
Well, you did. And see, you like it too. Maybe you're more like me.
Hey, we are unique in the fact that we like to be entertained.
That's right.
It's so weird.
It was so funny.
Yeah, but y'all, I don't always give y'all enough credit, and it hits me every once in a while. A large part of what Angel and I do, and as a ministry is helping people that struggle with addictions, and we've for the past 10 years have had a place for them to live, one house, and then it was 5 houses, and now it's just one huge property, 20,000 square feet. And I shared we had our 10-year anniversary this past Saturday, and I shared with everybody, like, none of this would happen if it wasn't for what y'all taught me. And look, I can't even describe how much I hated the ministry that y'all had. The Healing Hearts Ministries for single moms, and I would say some just terrible things that I would never repeat right here. These girls that got pregnant, had nowhere to go, and y'all bought the house next door, a 5-bedroom house for them to live in for free. And I remember being just so mad as a high school, selfish teenager, because that is money that could be spent on me. That could have bought me a nicer vehicle. This money could have helped me have better clothes, everything. And I remember being so resentful for that. And these girls would just get so ungrateful and basically spit in y'all's face after y'all sent them to school, pay for their college. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff. And then I go and do the same thing for people that struggle with addictions.
It's just like yours. It's challenging, and I used to tell your dad anything worthwhile is a challenge.
Yeah.
And anything worthwhile is not going to be easy.
Yeah.
And that's how you grow, and that's how they grow. But you help people, they stab you in the back, and sometimes that happens, and that's not why you do it.
That's right.
And so, it was funny. It was funny because our first girl lived with us, and then she came back to bless. Now we're getting blessed. All of us are getting blessed by her. I can't not give her a little bit of credit. Amy, that was rough. You know, she lived in our house, and
Oh, yeah.
you were brutal.
Yeah.
And Corey would kind of be the peacemaker and try to take up and all. But I told Lanson this weekend the whole story of that whole thing, because it was the first time God ever talked to me was with Amy. And because of Amy, I was in Wayne Watson concert. Y'all were raising money for Mr. Neal's band. Remember that at Christian Life? And so he starts getting up. He starts singing this song, and I don't know, it was about being promiscuous, or it was something.
Was it Promiscuous Girl, that song?
No, I don't know what it was called. I don't know. Anyway, I was sitting there listening to the song, and all of a sudden, God said, Amy's going to get pregnant. So weird. And she's fine me talking about this. But anyway, so I'm like, that was weird. I'd never experienced that ever. And so you're being young, you probably didn't pay attention if I did tell you about it. I'm sure I did. But anyway, I called her mom the next day, and she told me about her, and I didn't even know her. We went to a previous church for 10 years, and we'd see her, and she'd smile. And Dad and I guess God was using her smile toward Dad and I. And so Dad would say, God, her smile is so sweet. This is a sweet little girl. She was always in trouble, always. And so we kind of felt bad about that, too. And so then that Wayne Watson concert happened, and then we went to you started working at Albertsons with John Robert, and you came home one day and you said, hey, Amy's is working at Albertsons, and she's pregnant. And I thought, oh, that is so weird.
Wow.
And so we started going. I mean, we shopped there anyway, but we'd go, and sometimes your dad would go, do you need any milk? And I'm like, I don't know. And he'd say, I'm going to go get milk. I'm going to go check on Amy. And he would go to Albertsons to check on Amy. And so then where was I? I was losing my train of thought. Oh, so anyway, then she was at the end of her y'all got in the car wreck, and then God protected her there, which is amazing. And I'm leaving a lot out on purpose. But anyway, so then she comes to eat dinner with us one night. And so I said, Amy, don't go into labor alone. And so she'd go, oh, it's kind of dark. I won't go home tonight. And then this went on for days. And finally your brother said, Amy, you can have my bed, and I'll sleep on the couch. So she ended up staying with us. She went into labor. She gives me a hard time because she said I had to take a shower and put my makeup on before we went to the hospital. Because I knew how long it took to have a baby. You know, I knew how long it was. Yeah. But anyway, so she ended up being the first girl to live with us, and your sister shared her room from 11 to, what was she, 12, 13 when she left. And it was the coolest thing. We were talking about this weekend. They had the U-Haul, and Derek had left her and had come back for her because he went in the Navy, and we loved him. She met him at Albertsons. And so they were packing her up, and there were two seats in the U-Haul. And I've been protecting this little mama and this little baby for 2 years, and he's going to have her ride. Where'd they go? South Carolina? They went somewhere. I forgot where the first place they went. She rode on an ice chest.
Oh, wow.
And I said, you're going to have a ride on the ice chest? And he had the car seat for the baby. But it really bugged me. But she was packing up, and it was one of the saddest times of my life because she was kind of like a first grandbaby. We all played with this baby for 2 years. She was such a big part of our life. And I don't know if you even remember this, but you got in the back of the U-Haul, and after giving her a hard time, you sat next to her and you said, and I think you kind of gave her a side hug, and you said, Amy, I hope you have a good life. And I just remember that just being the sweetest thing.
So I am nice sometimes.
Oh, yeah. You just, kind of like John Robert always wants you to think he's mean, but I know he's just a teddy bear.
Yeah.
I mean.
Seems like they could have gotten a beanbag chair or something instead of an ice chest.
I couldn't believe it.
Sitting on an ice chest all the way to South Carolina.
Wherever they went. I don't know.
Yeah, that ain't happening. That baby's sitting on the floor. That baby's like, I'm getting some blankets, and the baby's going. Baby yeah, the baby's going on the floor.
Baby would be like a rocket.
I'll put the baby in the ice chest, like take the lid off, of course, and yeah, we're gonna.
Amy goes, I think maybe he's being sarcastic. I said, oh no, he wasn't. I know him. He wasn't.
What,
me? When you said have a good life, I knew you meant it.
Oh,
yeah. The way you said it. I said, no, Amy, he wasn't being sarcastic. He meant it. But see, you'd show yourself sometimes.
Well, and I wasn't, for the record, I was not a Christian yet. I was not living for Jesus on any level. I was, not a sweetheart.
It's fun though.
Oh, that may be, but not fun for everybody. But yeah, it wasn't until I gave my life to Christ that I had compassion for others and in others despite their poor decisions. That. that didn't come until I found Christ.
Well, you have to be called. And, you used to always say, well, anybody's a breath away, from being where they are. And it's just like doing prison ministry, you're a breath away.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make one false move or one stupid decision and you end up there.
Yeah.
Nobody's better than anybody else. It's just we make bad decisions.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. So
that's cool.
Y'all operated that ministry for what?
17 years.
17 years.
Mm-hmm.
And impacted so many, which is really, really remarkable.
We still keep up with them,
Yeah.
And Amy's our big major success. And then she moves back after 26 years
she
and
married
then blesses.
a fantastic human being. Derek is one of the greatest. They're awesome. They're really a blessing to our lives.
Oh, yes.
So thankful for them. And So it's nice when you can see the fruit of your labor,
It is. And it's fun because, your dad, we were just so matched because even in high school before we were really, I always say sold out. I believed in God, and you and I have this debate. But anyway, I still know if I died, I would have gone to heaven because I believed. And and that's just a debate that goes on. But we always had that. Even Miss Edith, the schizophrenic, we loved her, and so we helped her because she was living in an apartment with no refrigerator, no furniture, and so. Dad went to his church, and I went to my church, and we got donations, went to TG&Y with the money and bought her sheets and towels and got a refrigerator donated and got some a couch and all that. That was our first project.
Didn't she, wasn't she living in her car?
She was at one time.
And then I thought y'all helped her get the apartment.
I think.
She lit her car on fire
well,
trying to stay warm.
she was trying to stay warm, so she lit a fire. She was schizophrenic.
Yeah. Is that a
that reminds me,
characteristic?
That reminds me, she was schizophrenic,
I don't know that.
Yeah, no, it's another thing, but anyway. Anyway, but no, she was awesome. She was, talk about genius.
Yeah.
She had like 3 or 4 degrees.
Wow.
I mean, and she was good. She was a good person. You couldn't outgive her.
Yeah.
She had nothing, and you could never outgive her.
Yeah.
So one day I told my mom, I don't like nursing homes. I'm not going to a nursing home. I'm not going to visit a nursing home. And she loved going to nursing homes.
Your mom did?
My mother always loved going and visiting people. And I said, I don't. And God told me one day, oh, yeah? Well, you're going to go to, where was she, Abita, and you're going to pick up Edith, and you're going to bring her back here, and you're going to take care of her the rest of your life.
Oh, wow.
And that's why I did that.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, she was a... Yeah, okay. So, and just like she was a character. She was schizophrenic. She to stay warm, she lit her car on fire, and y'all also let her babysit us. I just want to.
No, I did
Yes,
not.
you did. 100%.
I think Nana did.
Y'all let her babysit us, and I remember very clearly. Do my parents even love me? Oh, and I would get so aggravated when you would leave me with her. And we love Miss Edith for sure. She's gone on to be with the Lord, but she would eat her food and she would take her false teeth out and set it on the side of the plate and gum that stuff. And I'm like, is this my life? Like, and I had to come to grips. Like, this is my life. This is how my parents love me. So yeah, y'all let her babysit us. So
I don't remember that.
Of course you don't, because you have selective, just like memory lapses.
She was an extremely interesting person.
Oh yeah.
And so we brought her here, and she was Christian Science, and she became a soldier for Salvation Army. Soldier for Salvation Army. And so she and I would get into some really interesting debates.
Yeah, we can't. I think my kids never even met her. I don't think.
She brought one.
Yeah, she knew Brody. Because she bought him a Build-A-Bear that time. Yeah. But like we all still impersonate her in our house. Yeah. Anytime we see a squirrel. Yeah. Anytime we say hi. Yeah. She was hi. Yeah, she was. She was a
character.
Lady.
She really was. I went to college with her one summer.
Oh, really?
We commuted to Southeastern just for a summer, one summer.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So you went to Louisiana Tech, Southeastern, and LSU.
I never went to LSU.
I thought you did summer school at LSU. Oh, you lied.
Southeastern.
I guess you lied to me one time and told me that.
I just told you I had my degree.
Maybe you toured it or something. I remember you saying you said it was so big.
I toured it, and I said there's no way.
That's what it was. Okay.
But I went to my first Elton John concert there.
Oh, nice.
Maybe that was it.
Maybe so. Well, cool. Any closing thoughts, words of wisdom, crazy thoughts?
You say always, it's a party up here, remember?
Yeah, it is. I can't imagine like what it's like to sort through what goes on in your brain. I really,
it's pretty fun.
Well, you like to be entertained, so I guess you're self-sufficient,
No, I feel blessed. I feel blessed with it was fun watching y'all grow up.
Yeah.
We enjoyed every minute. Most minutes you don't remember the minutes you don't enjoy. You just remember the good stuff.
Of course.
And we have some really funny, good memories. And I'm proud of all three of you, the way y'all came out, how you grew up, and awesome parents and awesome adults. And I think the biggest thing is Dad and y'all were our lives. And I think as parents, that's a really big deal to give your kids your all because they're not there forever. Mm-hmm. It goes by very fast, as you can see.
Yeah.
And I just maybe I didn't trust you sometimes to leave you alone. I know the one time I did, that wasn't good. But anyway, that's a funny memory too. But anyway, but we really made y'all our priority, and I think it paid off.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I appreciate y'all. I mean, y'all did dedicate everything to us, and yeah, I appreciate you. Incredible mom. Continue to be a great mom, and I'm just thinking like you were like AI to me before there was AI because you did my homework for me. Which was
Poor thing. Maybe that's what happened.
And I still made bad grades.
You did fine.
Yeah,
you graduated.
That's right. With honors.
Honors. That was funny.
Well, thank you so much for being on. And I hope you have a great Mother's Day. And love you.
I love you.